Welcome back to another episode of Finding Meaning with Suresh. I'm your host, Suresh. Today we're diving deep into a topic that I love, which is finding meaning in money. This very topic has guided my careers and inspired me onto my day-to-day work that I have pursued for many, many years. The relationship we have with money can feel complicated and emotional, but also joyous and empowering. While money itself is often viewed as a tool for transactions, it holds a deeper significance in our lives. It impacts our decisions, shapes our future, and can bring a sense of security and freedom. In this episode, I'll answer financial questions near and dear to me and hoping to help find deeper and greater meaning in money. I promise that you'll walk away from this episode with a fresh perspective on how you find meaning in money. Before we begin our conversation, we'll start a brief meditation. Let's close our eyes. Let's breathe in and out 3 times. Inhale from nose. Exhale from mouth. Inhale from nose. Exhale from mouth. Inhale from nose. Exhale from mouth. Pay attention to your breath as we inhale and exhale. Let's quickly feel our body from the top of our head to the toe. See if we feel any kind of sensations, whether it's tense, pleasant, tightness. Make sure that our shoulders are relaxed, our spinal cord is straight and erected. Let's be here together, connect to ourselves and connect each other. Everything else can wait. This is our moment for us. In a 3 breath, we'll open our eyes. Thank you for joining us. Hi, good morning. I'm with Meg McLynn this morning, and I'm actually sitting on the other side today, meaning I get to talk, and Meg will be asking me questions and leading the conversation. Meg is by profession, she's an actor, singer, and teaching artist. In fact, she's my voice coach. You have to decide how well I do and see about on my voice. But to full disclosure, I'm just taking only for last couple of months, so it's a long journey. With that, I'm going to introduce Meg, and now you can take over.
All right. Hello, Suresh. Hello to everybody who's joining us. And today we're going to talk about something that brings me a little bit of anxiety, money. And this is something that as an artist, I would love to learn a bit more about finding meaning in money. So, Suresh, what does it mean to find meaning in money?
What a great question. Yes, I've been working with people over 17 years and helping them figure out about their goals in life and how money can support their goals and for their life so that they can enjoy their time with their family and other people. Based on my experience with working with so many hundreds of people, what I found is that finding meaning is really ultimately how you connect your money with your values.
Okay.
Yes.
Can you help me understand what you mean by values?
Values are different for everybody has a different values. Sometimes we think that other people may not have values. Even people who are maybe in prison or people with a criminal background, they also have values, but they have different values. I have values, you have values, everybody has values, but they may be different for each person. So value basically means is the framework or the principle from which you are guided. They come from your core inside of you. Value is not something you go and learn from other people.
Okay.
You can relate with them. You can learn how to express them, right? So the value is coming from inside, not from outside. So if people want to find values, they have to go inward, not outward.
Okay. Well, can you share with us what are your values?
My values, primarily overall theme is helping humanity and also all beings, could be animals, humans, planet. So those are my values. If you look at the subset, then my values are authenticity, honesty, generosity, patience. I just discovered one of my biggest values is patience. Ultimately, it's just helping how to be helpful to other people. That could be also compassion and kindness.
All right. Well, I like those values. And I guess I can see how they're connected to money. You've talked a little bit about vision. So can you unpack that term a little bit? How does vision come into play when you're thinking about finding meaning in money?
Sure. I work with a lot of people from corporate America also. I work with the people who come from academia, professor or medical field doctors and nurses to corporate professionals and management. Many people who work in a corporate, they understand what vision means. Sometimes they're not sure about vision and others confuse the vision and other stuff. But for corporation, if we talk about corporation, that might actually help us to understand our own vision because everybody knows about corporation, everybody talk about corporation vision. So for corporation, for example, they have a vision for next 10 years, 15 years, 25 years. And that's their direction, where they're going to go from now until next 15 years. And what is the purpose of that goal? So they may be able to, okay, we want to find a cure for cancer, right? We want to find cure for cancer in 15 years. That's their vision. Because they have a goal in 15 years, then they also have a purpose. So in our human life, vision can be, okay, I want to retire in 15 years. Then, because I want to retire because I want to spend more time with my family, or I want to do the things I haven't been able to do because I'm so busy with work or raising children.
Gotcha. It sounds like you can connect your vision with your values.
Yes.
To find clarity about how you want to move forward or why you want to move forward.
Absolutely. Vision will come out of one of those values if you really pay attention to it.
Gotcha. So can you tell us a little bit about your vision or something that you're working towards?
Two things quickly about my vision. A lot of things, my vision probably comes from my own DNA, from my parents. For example, when I was growing up, I was probably 10 years old. We didn't have any electricity. We didn't have running water. We had to walk everywhere, pretty much up and down the hills. And people were poor everywhere. But my father, even though with the limited education, he had this vision that we need to have an airport.
Hmm.
We didn't have electricity. We have no vehicles. And then he said, that's the only way we can move forward fast, because if we wait for a car to or a truck to come here, it's going to be years because it's hills. How are they going to get here? The plane can come and land here. So he had that vision 40 years ago. Yeah. And I was only 10 years old. He started that process. He went to the Capitol. He lobbied with the politicians. He walked 2 days and went to take a bus. So it took 3 days to get him there and lobbying. And finally, we got the engineers to survey and all of that. And I was part of that. So
Really?
after 40 years, we just had plane landed 2 years ago.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So that's vision.
That is vision.
Yes. He started.
Yeah.
Nobody else believed.
Yeah. And it sounds like with that kind of vision, there has to be passion involved as well.
Yes.
Right? So can you talk a little bit about how you connect passion with finding meaning in money? I mean, what is passion? Or
passion is impermanence in a way. There is nothing permanent in this world. Just like us, we change every day and eventually we'll be gone. Sad, but that's the truth. So passion is basically, many people define different ways, but sometimes it's hard to understand because everybody talks about passion. And many people can't explain passion. So we're looking for this magical thing just going to happen to us. Then we're going to discover, oh, this is passion. So passion is not a destination, it's a journey. So what is passion? What I found is, what kind of problems do you want to solve? What kind of problem do you want to solve? That is passion. Yes.
Do you think that passion is important in finding meaning in money?
Passion also requires curiosity. It requires a lot of inner searching. Then it will make connection with your values if you pay attention to it.
Well, that's something I'm curious about. I'm an artist. I'm a performing artist. I feel a lot of passion in me, but I sometimes have a hard time connecting my passion and my values to the practical things that need to happen in the world. And that sounds really important for finding meaning in money. So are there tools or any ideas you have about how somebody like myself, who I feel like I know what passion is inside of me, but I don't know how to connect it in a lot of ways to things like financial goals. As much as I know it's important, they feel, I've been raised in a way that says, if you're lucky enough to be an artist, you're lucky enough, and don't ask for anything. And starving artist is sort of what we're built to believe we're going to be if we want to be artists. But I don't think that has to be the case. I just don't know how to connect passion and values to financial goals for myself. So are there tools? Are there things that have worked for you, or ways that you might, help us understand finding those connections?
Sure. So when I looked at a lot of successful people, success means different thing to different people. I'll give you an example. About 10 years ago, I met two people. I didn't plan any of it. It just happened. One person had $10,000. Other person had more than 10 millions. Very successful CEO, former CEO, businessman, all of that. And other person was basically professor and meditation teacher running Buddhist Zen Center. And she was also my meditation teacher at times. So I talked to these people and talk about money. And this person who had 10,000, she's like, oh, Suresh, I'm so happy. I made $372 on interest last year. She was like glowing and happy. And so I like, wow. Then I went to 2 hours later, I met this millionaires, multimillionaires. He was so upset with everything, how he was not making money. Oh my goodness. So that energy, that nervousness, that agitation, that he was not peaceful at all. Right? You are the one of the richest person in the city and the whole state, and you are still not happy. So I wanted to leave as soon as possible from this guy.
Yeah.
There's so much bad energy. Yeah. So sometimes you don't need a lot of money to be happy and connect with values. Of course, financial security is extremely, extremely important. Don't get me wrong, because otherwise we cannot focus on the things we want to focus on. As long as you have basic security and needs cover, then you can relate with your look into values. From values, you might have a vision. You may not even have a vision. You might just have a project you're passionate about. Maybe you want to just do this song or this art piece, right? That's your passion. So that passion may change, and next time you want to do completely different, but you still have the passion.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So passion, I hear a lot that how do I know if this is a passion? So what I discover and what I learn from other people that is that the passion will give you always never-ending energy. Every time you do it, you leave with more energy. And so that's how I find you are passionate. It could be an object, project, or whatever it may be.
Yeah, that makes sense. That feels true to my experience in a number of ways. I still haven't found out how to make money from it, but I think we'll get there. So, thinking then of values, of goals, and, how do we connect financial goals with personal values? I think you've talked about it, a bit, but it is still something that I really struggle with. How do I do the kind of work that feels most meaningful to me while still planning for the future and knowing that I'm setting myself up in some way?
Yes. So just to answer your follow-up questions, that today we're talking mostly in finding meaning in money. In one of the next episode, I'm going to talk about how to make money.
Very good.
So stay tuned for the next episode.
I will be tuning in.
Coming back to your question, how to connect your personal goal with your values, right? Even people have a little bit money, they can still connect with their goals, with their values. Even you have a lot of money, you can, of course, do even much bigger impact. I'll just talk about one particular example. I was probably one of the first, if not the first, financial advisor in the state of Iowa to introduce the environmental, social, and good governance investments for people. A lot of people criticize me for that, thinking that that's not a good idea. But after 10, 15 years later, it was a good idea. Because a lot of corporations made a lot of money.
Yeah.
And also made a big impact in the community. So, for example, now our total retirement money in approximately in US is about $40 trillion. That's a lot of money. We cannot fit in the calculator. Our brain will not even figure out.
Nope. No concept of that.
So $40 trillion between IRA and retirement, 401k, everything, right? So that's a lot of money we have in the US. To give you a perspective, it's a combined GDP of Japan, Germany, India, and China. That's a lot of money, right? So if we have a small investment, say that, okay, I will not invest in anything else except ESG or impact investing companies. will change the whole world. We can change corporations. They have no options. They have to change because we're demanding, because it's a $40 trillion, right? They'll be out of business if they don't follow us. So even government will change it. But we have to invest, say that, okay, all my 401k and IRA money, I want to invest in impact investing. So you will make such a huge impact whole in the United States, from green movement to social projects, nonprofit, government, health, anything. But we have to realize that, okay, this is my value. This is how I'm going to invest even with my 401k. And without spending a penny, you'll make a huge change.
Okay, that was a question I was going to ask, was how can I use my money to make change? And that sounds like, but choosing where you invest is how you can make change.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Okay, that's helpful. I have to admit, Suresh, I'm a bit of an anti-capitalist, so it really helps me to hear people talking about investing in things that will do good for the world.
Yes.
Because that's one of my values, is also in helping people. And I really struggle with the inequity that I see living. There's so much inequity around. And it does feel sometimes, and I think this is also my artist mentality, that if I have a lot myself, I'm taking from others somehow. And so just to think that me having money can also be a way of helping other people, even if I don't have a lot, because I don't have enough in my pocket to give money to everybody I see who's in need. But if I can invest in ways that will benefit, the world as a whole, that sounds exciting. And that sounds like something I would want to be a part of.
Right, absolutely. And sometimes we don't have to have a lot of money to make also a huge impact. We live in a very transactional based culture. That happens within the family structure, that happens in business, that happens in workplace. Because if we, let's say, for example, if we give a gift here, for example, they think maybe I'm expecting something else in return. But it doesn't have to be that way. The gift can be just one way, right? Because such a transactional culture. Okay, you do this for me and I'll do this for you. Right?
Yes.
So I think that sort of culture makes a lot of things uncomfortable and makes the social system weaker. Because here, even family member, if maybe brother or sister, or could be homeless, and they said like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I can't do anything about it." So some of the other culture, that will never happen. They'll take care of brother or sister who may be becoming homeless, but they'll pay whatever they have. So it's just a different culture. Of course, U.S. is one of the best countries. That's why I migrated here. I will say there is a free thing. We can do so much without paying anything. And there is no limitation, which is love. Right?
I can support that fully.
Just
I
give
really
love
can.
and give a smile. That's free. It's never ending.
Yeah. I like that. I was raised in the United States. We talk about the 1980s as the greed decade. Greed is good is a motto that sort of wraps up the 80s. And that's, that does not feel right in any part of me. I feel that's a destructive mindset. Just looking at the last 100 years of American society, some of the financial changes we've made have not benefited a lot of people.
Yes.
And so thinking of younger generations, I don't want to raise kids in greed. I don't want to teach kids today the same values around money that I feel my generation was taught, which was make as much of it as you can and keep acquiring stuff. And it's all about survival of the fittest and stomp down on anybody to get ahead. That doesn't seem like the way the world is going to work if we keep going in that direction. So I don't know if you have thoughts on this. You might be in a very different mindset around these things, but I'm curious what you think about talking to kids, to young people about money and how they should be thinking about it.
Talking about money with children is crucially important, but also make sure that parents are understanding the value of money. Meaning that everything we do, everything around us, whether in US or abroad, any parts of the world, everything is interconnected. If we do all the research, we'll find out you and I are relatives, right?
Yep.
Yes. Because
absolutely,
by all this research, I'm actually 30% white, even though I look brown. So everything is interconnected. It's how you think about it. So people say like, oh, I want to have all the money. Even it destroys trees, it destroys planet. They'll do it because they're looking short-term goals. But do you want to have destroy things? Then you save a little bit more money for your children. Maybe 50 or 100 years from now, your grandchildren are actually going to suffer from that, right? So that's how people should look at it. It's having a lot of money will not solve the problem. You think you will solve a problem because it will solve your materialistic goal, but not in your inner goals. Money cannot solve your inner goals, having a lot of money. Because ultimately, you're not going to eat gold. You're not going to eat diamond. You're going to eat food. So that's the thing about a lot of people who are introverted. They like money, but some people, they are so attached with money. Think that just having more money in the banks or investments, they think they're more successful. Just the money, number, nothing else to do around it. So if we have this broad, say that, okay, let's teach children how to, if they have let's say $100, and maybe out of 100, let's say $30 they spend on groceries or whatever they might need, maybe they did $40 or something on other thing, then let's say $10, let's help societies, charities. So make that part of the habit and goals. I think they'll learn so much about how to help other people. That's how I was raised when I was growing up.
Yeah. So it sounds again like the more we can find connection being, a value we're imparting to our children and recognizing that whatever choices we make for ourselves have a greater impact.
Yes. And also teach them, oftentimes in U.S. culture, parents don't really disclose financial information.
Yeah.
And they don't talk about money in front of the children. So then when they have money, they have no idea how to manage it even, right? Yeah. So that's why it's a good idea to start talking about money in front of them. I mean, when I was 10 years old, I knew everything about my family's finances. Yeah, because they gave me the key. That way people know how to manage, how they see how parents are doing, how they're doing budgeting, where they're spending money, or certain things. Of course, you don't want to tell everything, but overall, even when they leave money, okay, I'm leaving you IRA money, retirement money. If you do this way, you'll pay more taxes or less taxes. Or if you do this way, there are the penalty. So they can talk about it. As part of the family culture.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. That makes sense. I'm curious about something. You just said the word taxes, and I'm curious about something because we live in a society that, I believe that our tax dollars are supposed to be going to, programs and places that are going to, benefit all of us in some ways. And we all know, of course, that big bureaucracies mismanage money in a bunch of ways. But I struggle around the idea of taxes and trying to pay as little tax as possible, because that's another place where I find myself feeling, isn't this the money that is supposed to be going to building roads and bridges and libraries and firehouses and police stations? So is spending less on taxes in line with my values? If one of my values is trying to help people outside of, my small sphere.
Oh, sure. Yes.
It's something that I grapple with as I know that one of the things in this money, if you've got a lot of money, you can hire the right people to help you pay as little tax as possible. And I struggle with that as somebody without a lot of money. I'm paying all the taxes that I'm supposed to pay. So,
yes.
So how do we understand our responsibility maybe as citizens when it comes to taxes, or if that is a part of your values, your personal values, wanting to help other people, where does the tax game come into play in that equation?
Yes. Great, deep, passionate, and kind question.
It's a big one, I know.
Yes. Because I have worked with a lot of investors over the years, both people who don't have a lot of money and the people who have millions of dollars.
Yes.
I have worked with the people who are in the right wing, left wing, and with no wings. What I mean, Democrat, Republican, Independent. That's I call them independent. They have no wings.
I like that, the wingless creatures.
So when they come to see me, nobody ever has told me that they want to pay more taxes.
Oh, no. No.
Whether they're Democrat, Independent, or Republican, nobody ever told me, oh, can you figure out how can I pay more taxes?
No. Nope.
So the question is, I think it's part of human nature not to give away money because of it's an inner protection. It's a natural instinct. I want to have more because I may be in a problem later on, or my children. So I think that's part of it. So that's why it's important we have the structure and we have the laws. Otherwise, people usually don't do it voluntarily. Those kind of things. So going back to the question is that, yes, I think it's important we pay taxes and pay taxes with fair share. Some people pay no taxes, even they're making so much money, because they know how to play with the tax laws, because they can afford to have expert CPAs and financial advisors and attorney, right? For example, Warren Buffett, I mean, he's an amazing person. I really like his philosophy. Even though he's billionaire, he wants to pay whatever the law requires. And he said, like, why am I paying 14% taxes and my secretary is paying more than that?
Yep.
So, I mean, that's one example. And there are many people who want to pay taxes also. They want to pay taxes. But there are a lot of people also, Mitt Romney, for example, our presidential candidate, Mitt Romney, senator now, his company, and he didn't pay much taxes because he had best attorney, the best CPAs, best financial advisor. They just figured out how not to pay taxes legally. They have a legal. They didn't do anything illegal. They had legal loopholes. But people like you and me, who are everyday people, they don't even understand the value of having good CPA, or they don't have the money to have the good CPA or financial advisors. So that's very unfair. And I don't like that at all. And people who are making less money should not pay even what they're paying now. Yeah, because first of all, they don't even have enough money, right? So if you are a billionaire, what if you just pay 100,000 more or 1 million? It's almost nothing for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the gap, huge gap.
Yeah, and
we
get
have to
that.
pay taxes. Otherwise, if you don't pay taxes, what will happen? Who is going to fix the road? Who is going to provide you the electricity?
Yeah.
Who is going to provide the police department? road. And so we have to
Yeah.
go back to the forest and live there. So we have to pay taxes.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So it sounds like we are of a similar mind
Yes.
here. It's not that taxes, we want to avoid all taxes.
Yes.
And yes, I know for myself, my paychecks aren't so big. So
Yeah.
I see how much tax is taken out. It's like, I could really use that money. But again, I believe that, in our society, at least some of my tax dollars are going to do good things for other people.
Yes, absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
so
Yes,
it does
yes.
seem important.
Yes.
Thank
yes.
you. Thank you for letting me pose that question to you. It's
Absolutely.
yeah, it's just
And also quickly clarify, because if some of my clients listening to this podcast or the people who have money listening to podcast, that when people come to me for advice, I always try to figure out how to minimize taxes, because that's one of my jobs, right?
yeah.
Because again, that's legal.
Yes.
Everything, people should do it as much as possible. Whatever
Yes.
is legal.
Yeah.
So that's why we have to follow the legal framework, and they should have a law that favors more people who have less money.
Yes. Well, I think this is the problem with having a system of laws that were designed by wealthy men. They tend to favor the wealthy folks.
Yes, that's the
right.
big problem.
So yes. So thank you. I do. None of us likes paying taxes, but some of us do believe there is a value in it. I guess that's what I just wanted to be clear on. So, I think I had a question here. We've been talking about this. One of my questions is, how can I find fulfillment and happiness in my financial journey? And it really sounds like it's so much about connecting it to your values. Does that sound correct to you?
Yeah. Only way we can fulfill and find happiness is that we have to go inward. So the tools can be, because sometimes people struggle where to find meaning in their money or fulfillment, because sometimes we are afraid or we have very fixed mindset. So to go inside, to take risk and try different things. Just like artists, you as an artist, you try so many different techniques over the years, and then you find like, wow, this is amazing, right? So then you can live in a present moment and happy moment. So what I found over the years by doing deep meditation for over 25 to 30 years, I have done a lot of other work, personal work, listening to therapists, listening to coaches, attending seminars, workshops, even doing sometimes different dances so that I can feel my own energy. So slowly, so we need to go from head to the heart. Sometimes this thing is a longest distance in our life, going from head to the heart.
Yes.
I thought the longest distance was going from U.S. to the Mount Everest, but not really. It's from right here, from head to the heart. So once we figure that out, we'll be so much happier, because now we can connect with ourselves. Once you connect, oh my goodness, it's so peaceful, it's tranquil, we are relaxed, we're happier, we're content, we're satisfied, but the world will start moving slower than we think. So it becomes like timeless. So because you're so enjoying and living in the present moment. So it's a process. Anybody can try and get it, but you have to follow some sort of process.
Yeah. And so with that process, would you have like any specific next steps that someone should take if they were really starting? Let's talk about starting the journey towards finding meaning in money. How would you, help somebody? How would you guide somebody to begin that? I mean, you've mentioned a number of things. So I don't know if there's something for you that's, that feels really clear, like I would always recommend this, or here are a few different ideas for somebody to get started in finding meaning.
First, have a curiosity. If you don't have a curiosity, nothing else will happen. Once you have a curiosity, then you will start finding connection with different things. then be very conscious and mindful and be observant. What are the things that will trigger you that makes you happy or peaceful? And you can feel in the body, actually.
Yeah.
Because it feels relaxed when you pay attention to it. That's something actually will be good for you. If you think about it and do it, and your body is very stressful, that's not for you. And that's how you also can find passion. So how you get to that point is those different practices. People do it. For some people, for me particularly, meditation is the key for finding my passion, finding my values, because meditation helps me to go deep and deep and deep. The deeper we go, the peaceful it is there. So it's a cleansing process. First, we have to cleanse our body, our mind, soul, everything through using this technique. Some people might be doing yoga. Some people might be doing dances, music, swimming, whatever. There is nothing like one step that solves everybody's problem. That's why we have so many gods and goddesses, because one god cannot solve all these problems. Sure. It's the same thing. So find what works for you and try different things. And you don't know which one will actually work.
Right. So it sounds like starting with curiosity is the most important thing.
Yes.
From there, how do we, I'm somebody who likes to write my thoughts. So that might be a good thing for me to do, is let myself get really curious about my goals, my values, and just do some writing about it and see, sort of what that brings up for me.
Absolutely. And what I'm also doing now, because I have done a lot of training and coaching now for the last 9 months or so, it's really sifting my own process and journey a little bit. So you start paying attention to your desires. Desires.
Okay.
Because we always talk about wants and wishes, right? Those more like wants, wishes, those are like for brain. You're trying to use brain more. So when you start talking about desires, you start using your heart and your body.
Gotcha.
So, like, for example, you cannot control desire. For example, like when you get up in the morning, really crave for, if you're drinking coffee or something, right? So your body wants it.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you have to do it, but you cannot tell your body that, okay, don't want coffee. Because
big distance between here and here, and this one's gonna win there.
And it's been amazing to me with this practice. And I write 5 desires when I get up in the morning. What are the desires for me every day? And they start coming to the surface, it's almost like a meditation. Surface, go. Then you get more clarity. So that'll be one practice, and easy to do it. Even think about, what do you want to eat for dinner tonight? You don't have to eat whatever you desire, but start thinking about, what do I want to eat for dinner? If you find something you really love it, you will start feeling even energy without eating it.
True. Yeah, absolutely.
It wakes you up.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, Suresh, I feel like, as we've been having this conversation, I will say that I'm finding myself feeling a little less fearful around the concept of money, a little more curious. And I would say, more than anything, I feel like I've really discovered some ways that I can sort of bridge the distance between my financial goals and my values. I think, what you were talking about, choosing where you invest your money, or, those things really make sense to me, and they feel very practical. They're things that I can actually do. So I'm rather excited.
We have a lot of power to make changes as citizens. Yes, we do.
Yeah, excellent. Well, Suresh, do you have any final thoughts? Anything else you would like to share about finding meaning in money?
Keep searching for it. Don't give up. One day you'll find meaning in money. And if you want to learn more about how to make more money, then listen to the next episode.
Good plug. Well, I will definitely be tuning in, because I've got some questions.
Thank you so much, Meg. It's such a delight to talk to you every time.
Thank you. Thank you, Suresh. I really do enjoy our conversations.
Thank you. I hope these insights and answers have inspired you to view money through a lens of purpose and meaning. Finding meaning in money is about aligning your financial decisions with your values and creating a life of fulfillment and impact. If you have any question or topic you would like to for me to cover in the future episodes, please feel free to reach out and visit our website and leave us questions or comment. The website is sureshbasnet.com. If you enjoy our program, make sure you follow on Spotify or subscribe on YouTube, and or join our Facebook community. And again, thank you for joining us today. And until next time, have a great time.